Do you ever look around and think, wow, the world is a crazy place, and it just seems to get crazier and crazier? Ease your mind and take a break. This is Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah. We're a hub for inspirational Christian sermons, practical keys for Christian living, and Christian discussions and interviews. You'll be inspired to live the life that you were created for. Your host is a top-ranking podcaster, best-selling author, world record holder, aerospace engineer, life coach, evangelist, and founder of John Giftah International. Welcome to Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah.
I'm so happy to have a very special guest with us, and she's an Emmy Award winning actor, producer, all the way from Hollywood. Karina Michel, thank you so much for joining us. It's such a joy and pleasure to have you. You're not just an actor and a producer, you're the host of an award-winning podcast, Coffee with Karina. You've done many amazing things, including in big names like Rolling Stone and all of those places. So it's such a joy and a pleasure and honor to be with you, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be on your show, probably just as much, if not more. So I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So to get started, even though you're from Hollywood, it's amazing to know that you actually have a connection to Bollywood in the project called SCAD. I think it's started out in 2023. So can you get started with something that you can share on your connection to India and Bollywood?
Yes, I had, the pleasure of working on that, playing Cindy, and it was a joy. Everybody was wonderful to work with on there, and I can't wait till it comes out. I hear they're getting pretty close to finishing, and they're in the editing phase, and I can't wait to see it. So it was wonderful. And it's funny, I also worked years ago when I was in Hollywood, probably about 20 years ago now. I worked on a film called Comeback Ish. Am I saying that right? I don't know. Do you recognize that?
Okay.
And it was great. And I couldn't believe, I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, the singing and the dancing. And I just remember thinking to myself, why don't we do this here? This is so much more fun than the films, that are just the acting. I want the music and the theater, and I loved it. So I love all things Bollywood.
So what was the thing that really caught your attention about working on an Indian-based project?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it was a good friend of mine, Marie, who I have worked with on several projects, and she actually just called me one day and said, Karina, they're looking for someone to play Cindy in this, and I think I had a couple of days to prep. I mean, it was very quick, and they sent me the script, and I said, yeah, sign me up. I love playing this part. It was a lot of fun, and really good people. I think that's one of the main things that I look for now about working on a project. Who's doing it? What's their reputation like? How creative can I be? And it was great. It really was.
Before we dive more, tell us something fun about yourself, some character trait that you just feel is unusual or something that you enjoy doing that's weird.
So I love that you said fun, because I feel like probably most people close to me would say that I find the fun in most things, even if it's something, I don't know, where you're supposed to be very, very, sitting and no smile. I would be the person that found something funny. And you have to stop that, but I would say playful. I'm just that lighthearted, playful kind of person who finds the fun.
One of the things that I do on the side sometimes is that I come up with jokes and humor, comedy as well. So I really like that. So you do?
I do. I think it's a way that it brings people together universally.
Yes.
Everybody around the world understands. They see the humor in things, and sometimes humor is a little different in different parts of the world, but I think it's something that brings us together. In so many ways. That's why I love working on comedies too. Comedy is one of my favorites.
Have you ever worked on any comedy projects?
I have. I've worked on quite a few over the years, and I want to do more. That's something recently that I've decided, I guess in the past year, that I really want to do more of it because, you know, it's fun, it's lighthearted. Just like I said, I enjoy that kind of thing. And it's like there's enough things in life that can be depressing or hard to deal with. I don't want to work on something. I'm not going to be in that, you know, mood. I'll have to be in that, you know, bring forward those feelings all day sometimes, you know, for days on end. So I think it's fun, especially to make people smile and to make them laugh. That's what it's all about.
So since you started off talking about comedy, I just want to check my skills with you. So like if you were to think in my angle, let's see, who is God? Would you be able to answer the question?
Who is God? For me?
No, just the general question. It's a funny.
Okay, who is God? I don't know. Who is God?
I think God is Adam's son because, you know, God is able, more than able.
I get it. That's funny.
Yeah. I write these kind of stupid jokes sometimes. Like I wrote about a guy who went to his parents, to his pastor, and said, "My parents are not letting me be like Jesus." And then the pastor said, "What do you mean?" Then he said, "No, I wanted to color my hair for Good Friday." And the pastor said, "What is coloring your hair got to do being like Jesus?" And he said, "No, I heard that Jesus died on Good Friday, and I wanted to do the same." So died.
I love that one. That's good. That's really good. See, you're making me smile and laugh already, so you're talented.
Thank you. So, coming into some more depth to all the work that you've done, you've accomplished a lot of things. Is there something that I missed out while I was introducing you? I know I mentioned about the podcast, your acting and your production and the Emmy Awards and the Rolling Stone. So is there something else about you that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, I think something that I love to do is really connect with people, you know, and influence them in a positive way. And I didn't know that for a long time. And I guess maybe I did through the acting or the producing, you know, with the films that I was making. But I was just doing that because I was passionate about it. You know, I didn't realize that I was going to, be able to influence so many others. So that was really a positive thing. But with the podcast, which I love, I feel like that's kind of my, I don't know if I should say God-given talent, you know, but I love just being able to sit down and have a conversation and something very casual and, you know, just like we're sitting anywhere. It could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in a studio. What you can get, or help the other person with a lot of times. Maybe they may need something like we were talking before the interview and maybe you can have an exchange and it's something so powerful, you know? So I'm really excited to be able to bring together maybe my skills on camera or whatever that may be and do that with the podcast. And I feel like it's so cool because with the podcast, you can reach, you know, a worldwide audience so easily. And it's interesting. So.
Everybody has a unique gift. Everyone has a unique talent. In fact, my major book called Unveil Your Purpose, which is about finding your purpose in life, which actually became a #1 bestseller on Amazon in India. One of the things that I always try to drive into people is that everyone has a unique calling and a purpose. Like you have a very unique voice. Like you can speak to people that in a way that I can't. I can speak to people in a way that you can't. And the podcast is one of the ways, like, I really like the way you talked about, you know, having that conversations with people is a way where you actually, you know, pour your heart out and you share your heart out to people, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes most of what we see on media is all like scripted and produced and this is how it's supposed to look like. But then it's the we being ourselves, you know, sharing our heart. That is what will actually connect with people. That's what will actually make a difference, right?
Yes. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I feel like I feel the exact same way. My favorite conversations that come to mind of everything that I've done in the past few years or maybe on like documentaries where it's not planned, and somebody comes, to the scene and we're like, would you want to be on camera? And all of a sudden they have this outpouring, and it's just incredible what can happen when sometimes unplanned. It can be way bigger than something you've ever imagined to put into a project. So, and it can be anywhere. It could be at the kitchen table. Some of my favorites, are in places where, on a studio, not a planned place. So.
That's so true, guys. So those of you watching, I just want to use this opportunity to tell you, you have a voice, you have a purpose, you have a call, just like Karina, just like myself. We are using the podcast platform, we are using socials and YouTube and all of that. You as an individual, wherever God has placed you, you have a call, you have a purpose. I want you to tap into that. That's how you will be able to live the satisfying life that God has for you as well. So when you talk about the fact that you've accomplished so much and you're doing all of these things, how do you stay grounded? Like, one of the things when I'm looking at your our conversation so far, the flow and everything, you have achieved a lot of things. You started out as a model. And to be honest, I'm just saying this from my heart. I've seen a lot of people who have a sense of attitude or a lot of pride. And especially you come to places like Emmy Awards and all of these things. How do you stay grounded and don't allow pride to come near you?
Yeah, I think, awards or people recognizing you for certain things are nice. It's amazing. It's something, you work hard, and it's nice to hear that feedback and, know that you touched other people. For me, I every day I always talk about this. So if you've heard me on other podcasts, it's going to be repetitive, but I love to get out in nature. That really grounds me. And I listen to Joel Osteen. I listen to your podcast too now. No, I know about it. So, but just listening to that, and that really grounds me.
Ever since you were young, you started out in the field of modeling, and then you come a long way into acting and then production, and now to these awards and these great accolades. So if you were to give a message to the younger version of you, or look at it in another way, that you're giving a word of advice to somebody who's in the same age, like maybe they're young and they have big dreams like yours, what would the piece of advice be for them?
It's a great question. A lot of people will say things to you, oh, you should do this, or you should be doing that, or follow what's inside, because I feel like that really speaks volumes, right? When I was younger, I would record interviews with my friends. This is so funny. I don't usually talk about this, but it was on like a boombox, like music thing in my room, and I would hook up my mic to it and I just interview because I thought it was fun, and I wanted to hear about their lives and record that. And but I didn't really think anything else about it until recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, I used to do that. This is so crazy. So I think you should follow those things, that you're interested in, and just follow your gut feeling about things. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. And if it feels like this is a good direction to go with it, and work hard, and and see where it takes you. Sometimes, and I feel like for me, I never thought I would end up doing what I'm doing, all these things. That wasn't my plan, So sometimes, God's plan may be better. And in my case, it definitely was. And I hear that from a lot of people, that they have one, very rigid plan of what they want to happen. And then what actually ends up happening is far more amazing and beautiful than they ever thought possible.
Like, I'm reminded of how Joseph, right? Like in the scripture, he started off, he had these big dreams of leadership and all of those things. But what happens, his plan is like, oh, I go tell my brothers, this is what the dream is, and they're going to bow down, and the dream is going to come to pass. But in reality, it took a totally different direction, right? Like, he went into the pit, and then he goes into Potiphar's house, and then to the prison, and then eventually the palace. And years later, the dream comes true, not in a sense of them coming and bowing before him, but in a sense of him serving them, God's ways of making those dreams come true, the visions come true, is very unique, and that's where we trust him, right? Like you said, we
Yeah.
have these plans. I like how what you mentioned about you interviewing other people as a young girl, and when I was much younger, I used to go around having these makeshift microphones,
Me too.
and I used to set up at home, and I used to act like I'm preaching in front of a huge crowd, or I'm speaking and I'm teaching. So I used to do that ever since I was young, and today I'm doing that, like traveling and preaching. I've got to other countries and preaching. At the same time, doing the podcast through which it's reaching people all over the world. The YouTube channel. I just came to know yesterday that my YouTube channel is among the top 3.5% YouTube channels all over the world. And I was like, wow, okay, I didn't see that coming. Like out of 150 million YouTube channels out there. So in its own way, God is using it to be a voice to reach people. So that's the word of challenge or encouragement I want to give you guys, those of you watching, listening, that whatever God has placed in your heart, just follow, just go with it. Like Karina was saying, follow the gut feeling, even if you feel like, oh my goodness, you have guts to do this. TD Jakes always says this, do it scared. So
Yeah.
we need to get to that place of doing that.
Yeah, there's times when I've got this feeling and I'm like, oh my gosh, people are gonna think I'm crazy. Like even starting the podcast, I was thinking, oh, like I can't do that. Like who am I to do? You just start out small and you build, and you just do one after the other. And it's the same with anything, any dream.
What I've seen is that, like there's, especially rising out of Hollywood, there are a lot of projects, or there are a lot of movies that have a lot of negative annotations, and people love those negative ones. But we need, like I even checked out part of your, the documentary that won the Emmy Award, right? About the police officers and the PTSD and all of that. Like, we need more content that brings awareness, that makes a positive difference. And so it's not easy for someone to say, what, I'm going to stick to my principles, I'm going to stick to my conviction. So have there been moments where you had to maybe pay a price, or maybe put your foot down and make sure that this is the direction I'm going, even if it means that it's going to cost me something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I didn't have a negative reaction, but in the beginning, when I was trying to explain to people around me, because I was kind of working in journalism a little bit then, and in the media, there was a lot of negativity around that. And I understand, there are good people and bad things happen, and I get that. But what I was seeing in my community here was so much positivity, and I would see the officers, just going to like the young people in the community and helping them with things. And there was just so many things, playing basketball with them, and I just thought, wow, this is so beautiful. And I kept seeing it, and it would keep coming up. I kept thinking, I can't do this because this is so far-fetched. And I remember telling people, they were saying, oh, Karina, this is risky, I don't know. But I said, no, the way that I want to tell this story is just like you said, about the positive, the positivity of the situation. And I want to show what other people don't see necessarily, something that's not talked about in the media. And I think that's why that project got the attention that it did, because it was maybe done in a way that hadn't been shown before. Yeah, but I love doing it. And again, stuff that, just with the community. I did another one with the Women's Center here, which is actually a faith-based organization. I volunteered with them to help the young women there as well. And we did a little short film, and it went out to some festivals, and people loved it. It was amazing. So I think it's a lot of times people feel like they need to go to Hollywood, or they need to be in, and it's true. There are a lot of movies that happen there, but you can really pay attention to what's around you. There's so much more than you think, just locally, and things that people can really make a difference with.
This particular documentary that you made is about, the police, and right now there's a lot of attack on the police, like on a political scale, if you see, right? Like the defund the police and all of these things that's happening on one side. So have you got yourself into a place where you're trying to bring out awareness about the things that the police are going through? At the same time, there's a movement that is trying to shut down the police, like all this defund the police, especially from one of the sides of the political spectrum. So, have you faced backlash because of political reasons, or how did you tackle any of those, if you did?
I really haven't. I try not to get political on a lot of the projects that I do. I like to keep a neutral stance, and not just because I don't know, I feel a certain way or whatever, but I feel like I do these to spark conversation, and I'm not an expert on the on the police community, as it were. I have worked with the sheriff's department and volunteered here, which was an amazing experience. But, I want people to kind of judge for themselves. And that's the reason I make the movies that I do and the documentaries, because I want to spark those conversations that wouldn't ordinarily be coming up. Yeah, people can decide for themselves. But yeah, I really haven't. And I'm thankful that I haven't had to deal with anything like that. And I think it's because, I'm not standing on any particular side. I'm saying, hey, people aren't seeing this part of it, and it's something the media uses not to show for whatever reason. And this is what I see, and I'm just bringing it to people. I'm bringing it to documentaries, and I'm letting people make the decision themselves. So if that makes sense. Yeah,
that certainly makes sense. Yeah, I really like that approach, and I'm glad that you're doing that, because I was reminded of how I think social dilemma came up, and it just spoke about the challenges with social media, but people had to make the decision whether they were going to follow it or not. Same thing, you are bringing out this the awareness and bringing this to light, where not many people know about the PTSD that the police are enduring. And even for me, when I was going through, I was like, oh, you know what, I didn't think about this angle. So imagine how many people be like, oh my gosh, this is something I need to look at. So in that angle, do you have any projects in mind that you want to produce?
I don't have anything right now. I kind of wait until it comes to me. It's kind of, a lot of times I'll be out walking and I'll be listening to these things, and all of a sudden I'll get this idea, and I'm like, wow, that's a great idea. And I didn't come up with that. I know that's something that came to me. But no, one thing I do want to add, though, is that before doing the documentary, I didn't know. First of all, it took me a year to get permission to actually go on ride-alongs and see all this. I didn't know what I was going to see. Because in the beginning, I just thought, wow, this is interesting. And anytime I get that, like, curiosity, I want to know more. It's usually something that I want to pursue. So I actually did a couple of ride-alongs first to see if it was something that I even, thought, okay, this is something I want to, record more of and see more about. So I didn't know either in the beginning. I wasn't really, I see the good and the bad as well. Just from what I was seeing here in my community, and I'm sure many others, there was so much love and so much positivity. And it's interesting, I was thinking this morning, each of the officers that were in that, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I think they talk about it a little bit in the movie. Their faith was the thing that kept them going. They would pray before their shift. Scary. You're getting kind of put out there. You don't know what's going to happen, and that's part of their life. And I thought that was so beautiful. I thought it was great.
Ultimately, that's what, no matter what we deal with, whether it's PTSD or the challenges of life, or even, being the light in the darkness, or for anything and everything, by the end of the day, what helps us get going is through trusting in God. And, it's not because everything is going great in my life, or it's not because, everything is like picture perfect in your life, right? Like you have your own challenges, but still God strengthens you, and it's your faith that keeps you going in the midst of all of that. Have there been moments where, like when we talk about this aspect where picture perfect or anything, like you started out as a model and you are into this acting space, and one of the things that I think is making a lot of ruckus for especially for the younger generation today is, this sense of unrealistic expectation in terms of the beauty standards, or in terms of oh, I'm not good enough, or look at them, they look like, so good, and look at me, look at my imperfections. I'm actually on the side, I'm also a huge Scooby-Doo collector. I also got world records for my Scooby-Doo collections, and it's not the largest collection, but I set records on a different vein. And I'm also nicknamed as the Scooby-Doo pastor, so I would actually be asking you some Scooby-Doo based questions as well. So, but I brought in, one of the things that I brought in was, this is a Scooby-Doo Barbie, okay, a Daphne as Scooby-Doo's Barbie. It's a very unique piece. So now when you look at Barbie, Barbie has these standards, like she looks so pretty, she's so beautiful, like, the body is so this. And so there's these standards set, like, okay, this is how a Barbie is, this is how a pretty girl is, or things like that. So entertainment industry in general has these standards that have put these expectations on people that, this is what is beauty. And anybody who doesn't meet those standards, is looked down, or they feel down about themselves. Like even today, while I was just coming towards the interview, I was just doing all, even for me, I want, like, I want to have that flawless skin, and, like a Disney skin. That's what I would fantasize all the time. And I was just saying, what, in reality, on media, we portray those things as the standards and expectations, which have laid out unrealistic expectations on other people. So what is your word for people to say that, like, to be comfortable in their own skin, or to love themselves, even if they don't meet the, Hollywood or entertainment industries or model standards?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I, going into the modeling industry, starting pretty young, I went to New York to work in the modeling industry. And yes, back then, I remember like the waif look was in, which, I'm slender, I look like a model, but I'm not the waif look, let me put it that way. And I remember thinking at the time, okay, so I know I tried, I was like, oh, I have to be this and I have to be that. And I think when I kind of let that go and said, okay, this is me, and you have to understand there's only one you that you can bring. So when I started, just trying to fit into a mold that I probably was not, I wasn't going to be that teeny runaway model, and that was okay. So, and especially today, there's so much online, and it's scary, and it makes me sad just to look, and see what other girls have to deal with now. So much more, girls, I guess, men and women too have to deal with what you see on social media isn't real. This is what people have to understand, and it was true for like magazines back then. They're airbrushing, whatever, to make you look a certain way, smoke and mirrors, But there's just so much that teens especially have to deal with today. And I'm always telling my daughter, like, this isn't real, right? Or, and she knows. I think they're pretty good nowadays, the kids, what's real and what's not. So just knowing that, and I think, what makes you unique sometimes are your imperfections, and people can obsess over, oh, I have this, or this is this way, or I want this kind of hair. You always want what you don't have, I feel like.
That's true.
Yeah, but when you really realize that there's only one you, and the body positivity now, there's a lot of body positivity that's kind of been happening the last few years, which is exciting. So there is good content on social media if you can find it. But just focusing on that and being the best you that you can be, not worrying about being someone else or something else, I think is the way to go. And you're going to live a happier life that way too, not stressing about that, because only one you, that's it. Now, I just think the standards aren't quite as high, as back then, as far as like the waif look when I got started. I don't know. Modeling's always kind of been a certain way, but I feel like we have more inclusivity now. There's not just one thing they're looking for, which is really nice. Just focus on being the best version of you, because most people aren't going into that modeling industry, which is probably a good thing. But even with acting and, you know, theater, whatever it is, anything creative like that, just being the best you. And sometimes there might be some fear behind that in the beginning, which is something I talk about a lot now. And it's just knowing that everybody, and we talk about this on the podcast a lot too, you know, everybody has concerns, or they worry about, oh, you know, is this the direction I'm supposed to be going? Or am I good enough to do this? Or, you know, is this my thing I'm supposed to be focusing on? But is that everybody deals with that, you know? And that's what I think I've realized, even with doing the podcast, where people had ups and downs in their careers, and, you know, their journey to success was never, you know, like a flat, easy road. There's always some kind of obstacles or that come through on there, and it's just kind of guiding and finding your way through that. And you're going to get on the right path in the end, or hopefully before you get closer.
That's so true. Like, even for me, you know, I one of the books that I wrote, the first book that I wrote is called Who Am I?, which is actually on identity. The thing is, ever since I was young, I struggled a lot with identity. It was because people used to put me down, especially in India, like, oh, you're dark skin tone, you know, like they used to put me down. And that actually had a negative impact on me to a point where I was like, oh, I was never confident enough, like, to be myself, like, especially if you see, for instance, in India, like, you know, like, if you're into modeling, you know, if you have this skin tone, after things are like cancelled for you because of that, you know. So it's over time that, you know, I had to get into that place of like, okay, you know, accept myself. This is who God made me to be, and there are certain things that I can't change. And eventually what happens is now, so even though sometimes it feels awkward because, you know, being in the media space, especially on the socials and all of those influential spaces, you know, for the most part, you know, the skin tone happens to be like a negative thing or a disadvantage in some ways. But then I find it as a unique spot where that's what helps me stand out from the rest. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so I always tell people, you know, what is different about you is what will actually make the difference around you. So that's the attitude that I try to have. And even guys, if you're feeling low about yourself, you have some reason why you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. I want you to understand that, you know, if Karina can say that, you know, despite being a model, despite being an actress and producer in Hollywood, if she can say that she can also battle with things like, you know, I'm not good enough, then anybody for that matter can feel that. Like, you can have the, you know, quote unquote, like a Barbie model and still feel that you're not good enough. So that's the challenge I want to give you guys.
Yeah, no, I think that's really valuable. And that, again, on the podcast, just interviewing, you know, all the people that I've interviewed in the past few years, everybody, doesn't matter how successful they are, you know, they all, I feel like, have that common theme, that there were things they had to overcome, and whatever those were, like, everybody has it. So you think, you see these people who are famous and you think, oh, they have the perfect life, they don't have anything to deal with. And it's not true. It's not true at all. So, but it gives us, you know, more, I mean, it's good to hear what other people go through to help with everyone else.
Yes, that's so true. You were also saying that you're doing a project with your sister about a faith-based project. What is that about?
Yes, and it's so funny. I was thinking, I totally forgot, because this is like a family project too. And I was like, oh, this deals with the church and the Church of England. I was like, I have to tell John about this. So you brought it up. No, it's called A Legacy of Sound, and it's based on my great uncle John Appleby, is his last name, and really his life and his need to leave a legacy behind. You know, how can something positive in this world? And he lives in the south of England, in the Cotswolds, and it's a beautiful village. It's a stunning church. I've been there. It's beautiful. You know, it's just a beautiful old English church. And what he did is he brought in gold bells for bell ringing, and he put all of his brothers and sisters names on these gold bells that he had made in Italy. So he felt like it would ring out forever. They would be sounding his legacy, and I just think it was such a beautiful thing. And I forgot to mention, Uncle John is 90. I think he's 95. He's in his 90s. He still drives. Okay. He's still. I mean, he's normal walking around, living. He has a very busy life, probably busier than mine. So I really look up to him. But all this was happening in my family, and my sister Emmy Michel, who's based in London, she was like, we have to, she really wanted to kind of show this and just record it so other people, because it was such an amazing thing that he was doing. And then I remember saying, you definitely should, and you should do it right. And so she did it, and it was her first film. It's her first short that she's ever done. She's a photographer, an amazing photographer. Wow. She's done a lot of fashion photography and all types, press and everything. But so she did it. She finished it. We just had the premiere. It's actually on my Instagram. I don't know if you saw it on there, where some other family members came out, and it was amazing. So beautiful. Like, I never thought that I'd be in a theater, with my great uncle and my great aunt, and I'm thrilled to be, an executive producer on it. And my sister, though, she really did it herself. She didn't. She came to me with questions every once in a while, but it's her baby, it's her thing, and she did an amazing job with it. So it's starting to get into the festival circuit. It's in London. I think it's the London Independent Film Festival. I want to say on the 5th, October 5th in London. That's the first one, and yeah, we're excited to see where it goes.
When she had this desire to talk about or make this like whether self-doubt, like, is anybody going to watch or things like that, like, if she had that kind of doubt, how did she deal with it? Do you know anything on that?
She did, I think. And I think she said that she was in the church one day, and there were some other people in there, and they said, "What are you doing?" Because she was going around with the camera. And I think she blurted out, "I'm making a movie," or "I'm making a documentary," or something like that. And that's how it came out. So she said, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm doing this." But I'm sure she did, because she's I think she calls herself the accidental filmmaker. And that's kind of how it for her, it was by accident, but she did an amazing job. She put some great people together. I'm really excited to see where it goes. But for me, it holds a special place in my heart, because it's family. And it's it's our, my grandmother's bell is in there, and my great grandparents. So.
Can't wait to see these projects live. It's going to be so good to check it out. So what is your word for, because the reason I was asking about, if she dealt with self-doubt and all of that is because the next question I want to ask is, like, what is your word for budding creators, content creators, or artists, or actors, or anybody for that matter,
Like a word of advice for them or something helpful? Yes. Yeah, I think so many times it's easy to get caught up in, like, I need to go to LA, I need to go to New York, I have to be in this place. And a lot of times there's so much available either online, you can pursue training online now, which is great, where you don't even have to leave your house, or just locally get involved. And you don't need expensive equipment when you first start. You can really, a lot of the film that I did was on my cell phone. I recorded because we were in a tight space and I couldn't have a huge camera crew in there. So I just, take risks with it. Take risks on being creative. Don't feel like you have to be restricted.
That's such a needed word of advice. Like, I always tell people, you don't have to jump into the deep end of the pool. You can start with the kiddie pool. In the sense, like, I started my podcast or my ministry when God said, start an international ministry. I didn't have international contacts. I didn't have anything. All I had was my phone, like how God told Moses, what is in your hand? And Moses said, I just have a stick. So likewise, God asked, what's in your hand? I said, I just have a phone. And I started off with podcasts, 13 years ago. So I started the ministry just with my phone, just sending voice messages. And, like those humble beginnings paved the way for me to, get better at what I'm doing. I used to stammer a lot. I was not that impressive. But eventually, over time, I started getting better with the podcast, and then it went into YouTube and then television. Now I have a weekly TV program, and then I'm on, like traveling and preaching. So it's like all one led to another. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants, the moment when they can get into, like maybe get an Oscar or an Emmy, but, start with, your own little thing that you can do at home. So
It's true. Yeah.
it's like I always tell this that you if you don't get opportunities, you create your own opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like when David was about to defeat Goliath, that was a moment where nobody came to David and said, "Can you defeat Goliath?" He saw
Yes.
the need, he went and presented himself for that need. So that's the challenge I tell people. Like you saw that there's a need to address the PTSD in the police, and you made an effort to address that issue. So likewise, I challenge those of you watching, listening, ask God to show you needs, ask God to show you places where you can, shine your light in the darkness. Instead of you going and saying, please give me an opportunity, why can't you create your own opportunity? I think that's going to be a great way to get started. So coming back to the aspect of me being a Scooby pastor, do you have any lesson that we can take away from Scooby-Doo or from your memories or anything like that?
I love this. This is fun. Okay. My favorite Scooby-Doo memory, a couple of years ago for Halloween, I don't know if you guys celebrate over there, but we dress up here. We'll have parties and things. But I was Daphne for Halloween.
Oh.
So when you asked this, I was Daphne, and it was so fun. I loved it. It was such a fun character to, just dress up with and have fun. But yeah, what lessons? I don't know. They seem to have good teamwork, right? They stick together. I mean, I like that she's a detective, and I always end up playing a detective, which I love. I love that role anyway. But I think they stick together, and they work for the greater good, and they cruise around and they solve crimes, and nothing better than that. So I'm a big Scooby.
Like you said about teamwork, I always tell this that, everybody has a unique gift, even in the Scooby-Doo gang. Each one of us have a unique call and a purpose. I mean, it ties back to that message, guys. It ties back to that message that everybody has something unique. And like you said, they're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for greater good. Like I was sharing about how even, many a times we live our life like, what can I get from this? What will I get? What is in it for me? But can we get to a place where like, how can I be a blessing to other people? How can I just live for something greater than myself? And so I think that's what really, really makes the difference. And I think that's a beautiful way to tie that piece up. So what is your one message or something that's burning in your heart that you would like to share as a message to maybe I'll watch those who are watching, listening, as well as, to the audience in general?
The audience, I would say, I guess kind of going back and reflecting on this interview, just if you have something that you want to do and it keeps coming up, this is a big one for me. It'll keep coming up and I'll say, no, sometimes I'll try and even like put it out of my mind, but I know it's something I want to do. And if it keeps coming up, maybe see if there's something there, maybe try it out. And like you were saying, you don't have to jump in, the deep end of the pool, right? So you don't have to jump in the deep end. You can kind of dip your toe in a little bit and see if it's something that you want to do. And again, just to follow your heart, it's all in here. I feel like, have that feeling of something you want to do, just try it out and follow through with it.
One of the things I challenge you guys, like, don't give in to your excuses. Just give it a shot. I mean, like, you never know where it's going to head, right? Like, if you think like, oh, it's never going to happen, it's never going to happen. But maybe you can just get to this perspective of what if I try and what if it does happen?
Right.
One of the principles that I always live by is that, the pain of failure is better than the pain of regret. it's better to try and fail than to come to the end of your life and wish, oh man, I wish I tried. I wish I done something. So I think that's the principle that I would really recommend you guys to live by as well. So do you have any special or specific word that you would like to share towards, this podcast or myself or the ministry, like based on, your experience with the podcast as well as your experience checking out my messages and everything as well.
Yeah, no, I just want to say I'm truly honored to be on your podcast. I've listened a little bit myself and I love the messages that you put out there. So I am just thrilled to come on and, have this conversation with you and exchange ideas. And I think you have so many wonderful things to say. So congratulations on the podcast. And I'm sure it's going to continue to grow and be such a success going forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Like any plans of maybe coming down to India or collaborating here in India?
You never know. I would love to. I mean, if the opportunity came up, I would love to do that. So we'll see.
Yeah, that sounds so good. That's so good. So how can people stay connected with all that work that you do? I'll obviously put on the links in the description that you share, but if there's something else.
So as far as filmography, I mean, IMDb is usually pretty accurate with projects that I'm working on, but for a more behind the scenes look, it would be my Instagram, Karina Michel Official. And that's where you can find everything, what I'm doing day to day sometimes. It's all on there. And then obviously on the podcast, Coffee with Karina. I think we may have some similar things that we talk about. So I think the listeners would enjoy, the conversations on there as well. So, but you're so inspirational. I think that you just bring so much, to your audience. And I hope I do the same going forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, based on whatever I checked on your podcast and the things that you do, it's one of the things that, like I said, about being authentic. I really love that aspect about you. There's so many people out there who just do it for its name and they just do it for namesake. That it's not from their heart, and that doesn't reach people. That doesn't make a difference. And sometimes it's that heart connect that really makes the difference. And I'm so glad that you're doing that, and someday maybe I would join you on your podcast too.
Yeah, that would be fun. Definitely.
Any particular projects or something that you're working on that you are free to talk about?
Yeah, right now it's so funny. I have a couple of projects in the works and I can't talk about either of them. So I'm in that weird predicament because, I love to talk. I have to talk show, but other than, A Legacy of Sound, which is, will be coming out to theaters and hopefully be available either online or on the networks after that. But I'm excited. I have, some fun things going on, but I can't say too much about it. Hopefully Scarred will be out soon though. I hear that, it's going to be coming out in India and you'll probably see it before I do. So if you see it, you have to let me know how it did, how the film came out.
I will.
Okay.
That'll be cool. Maybe you can use that as an excuse to come down to India, come for a premiere. Maybe we can meet.
That's a great idea.
That'd be great.
That'll happen in the near future.
So that's so good. So we will almost come to the end of this thing, and at the same time, I always like to end by asking, is there something that me and our audience can pray for, maybe with a project or maybe something in your life that we could pray for you?
Oh, that is so nice. Oh my gosh, I guess. You talk about what you can bring to other people, right? What I can bring to other people. And it's always those ideas of, situations or documentary ideas, or even for a podcast idea. So anything. I'm always trying to, I feel like the more I search for them, sometimes it doesn't work. I wait for them to come to me. So I would love that. I would love to have that prayer and to see if something comes up, or they can also just DM me and get in touch with me too. If your listeners feel that there's something that they think I should talk about. I love to hear that from people as well.
I was actually reminded of this passage. I was just thinking of it while I was coming towards this interview, of how, Samuel came looking for David. David didn't go looking for Samuel. Samuel came looking for David to anoint him as the next king. So, in a sense, like how you said, instead of you searching for it, you want them to come to you. And I think sometimes, that's the way it actually, like, when you have the faith and just pray, God is going to make sure that the right things are going to come your way. Like the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and these things shall be added unto you. So in a sense that, you stay in faith, you do your best, have the spirit of excellence, God will bring the right people across your path. God will open the right doors for you. For me, to be honest, like when I got this opportunity to interview you, I was like, in one of my lowest moments myself, I just got laid off from my job, and on the day I got laid off, on the day that the day I had to submit my assets, that was the day you said, you confirmed that, okay, I'm going to be on your podcast. You see, guys, this is a word to encourage you as well. Like, you can have issues in your life or challenges that are making you feel down and discouraged, but you never know how, even if a door closes, stay in faith. Like with Karina, like in the midst of all this, God will make sure that the right doors come, the right opportunities come. And I'm going to close with a word of prayer for you, so that, God will continue to bless you, open doors for you, and use you mightily for his glory. So
Much.
I will do that at this point. At the same time, before we go, I want to share with you guys, to check out my books that are available. You can check them out on Amazon. If you're watching this on YouTube, I challenge you to, like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you're listening to this on any of the podcast platforms, I challenge you to leave a rating and follow as well. So it'll be a great blessing. Follow me on social media, and I'm also going to put in all Karina's details in my descriptions. You can follow her, stay in touch, check out her podcast, and watch out for her movies as well. So I'm sure it's going to be a great thing to check out for us as well. So I'm going to leave by giving you a word of prayer. Lord, I want to pray over Karina in the name of Jesus. Lord, we want to bless her from the bottom of our heart. Lord, we thank you that you have chosen her for such a time as this to be a mighty vessel for your glory, to be a person who is the light in the darkness, to continue to shed light into aspects that have been forgotten. God, I want to pray and bless her that you're going to open doors no man can shut, that she's going to find the right people coming across the path, the right opportunities that will trust her to new levels, new projects that from unexpected sources. God, I believe that you're going to do the impossible in her life, oh God. Lord, we thank you because you are the doorkeeper. You are the source for her. And we believe that, you're going to do things that we can't even imagine, that it's going to be far and beyond whatever we could ask, think, or even imagine. Lord, we give you the glory, we give you the honor, and we leave her with your blessing, oh God, that your presence will go with her, lead her, guide her, and her family, and every project that she endeavors will be a success for the kingdom of God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Karina. And
That was beautiful.
With you very soon.
You've been listening to Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah. We hope you were blessed and inspired to live the life that God has for you. Make sure to subscribe to the John Giftah YouTube channel for regular uploads of sermons, skits, interviews, and more. Follow John Giftah on Instagram for regular inspirational posts. And don't forget to check out the best-selling books written by John Giftah, Who Am I?, which will help you understand your identity, and the latest #1 bestseller, Unveil Your Purpose, helping you discover your purpose and to start walking in it. Make sure to leave a rating and review, and be sure to share it with your friends and loved ones. If you'd like to donate, you can find the PayPal link in the description. And if you'd like to invite John Giftah to speak at your event or to get more details, go to the website at www.johngiftah.com. See you on the next episode of The Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah. God bless you. You've been listening to Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah. We hope you were blessed and inspired to live the life that God has for you. Make sure to subscribe to the John Giftah YouTube channel for regular uploads of sermons, skits, interviews, and more. Follow John Giftah on Instagram for regular inspirational posts. And don't forget to check out the best-selling books written by John Giftah, Who Am I?, which will help you understand your identity, and the latest #1 bestseller, Unveil Your Purpose, helping you discover your purpose and to start walking in it. Make sure to leave a rating and review, and be sure to share it with your friends and loved ones. If you'd like to donate, you can find the PayPal link in the description. And if you'd like to invite John Giftah to speak at your event or to get more details, go to the website at www.johngiftah.com. See you on the next episode